Dragon Age The Veilguard is off to an intriguing start. Following the somewhat controversial decision to change its name, Bioware reintroduced the series with a 2-minute trailer that drew unfavorable comparisons to Fortnite and Marvel. In response, Bioware released a 20-minute teaser that was received much more positively, marking another surprising twist in what has been a roller coaster decade for the franchise since Dragon Age Inquisition. Subscribe to the channel, and let's start our first impressions of the gameplay trailer. It's evident that the Veilguard is heavily stylized, and whether that look resonates is largely a matter of taste. It's worth noting that Dragon Age has always featured diverse art styles, and the notion that the series would revert to the blood-splattering style of the original has always been debated. What matters most is a cohesive sense of identity, and in that regard, the Veilguard seems like a logical evolution of Inquisition, which was also quite stylized. According to EA, Dragon Age The Veilguard will feature performance and quality modes on consoles to ensure players can choose the visual fidelity they prefer. For what it's worth, there are plenty of nods to longtime fans as well, including the return of Varric. Varric narrates the story's opening section, recapping the events of previous games and explaining the motivations of Solas, also known as the Dreadwolf. It begins in an emergency state as the group of heroes tries to stop Solas before he tears apart the barrier between Thedas and the spirit world. The main character and his companions, magical detective Neve, Scout Harding from Dragon Age Inquisition, and Varric, practically the series' protagonist by now, embark on a quest to guard the Veil. It's precisely the kind of tense race-against-the-clock plot you expect from a Dragon Age game. What follows is essentially one long action set piece as the main characters sprint through Minrathous, a city under attack by demons. This is another significant moment for fans who have long awaited a glimpse of the Tevinter Imperium's capital. BioWare's art and tech teams really knocked it out of the park with the design of Minrathous. It looks incredible, its skyline dominated by a magically suspended palace in the shape of a saw-toothed crescent. It's the kind of place that's drunk on pride and power, that's destined for a fall. As soon as the trailer starts, Solas's ritual is already underway, and demons have begun pouring into the streets, killing everyone in sight. The whole aesthetic kind of looks like Mass Effect. According to director Corinne Bush, it is a mission-based game. Everything is hand-touched, handcrafted, very highly curated. While it's unwise to draw too many conclusions from such a brief section of the game, it's natural to wonder just how linear the Veilguard will ultimately be. The developers believe that's how we get the best narrative experience, the best moment-to-moment experience. But along the way, there will be levels that do open up. Some of them have more exploration than others. Alternate branching paths, mysteries, secrets, optional content you're going to find and solve, so it does open up. But it is a mission-based, highly curated game. This does remind me of the more zone-based first 2 Dragon Age games. The dialogue wheel is back, and everything is pink. There's even the classic Mass Effect ability wheel. Rook's powers and cooldowns arrayed along the bottom. One thing I noticed was no one was making any cringy jokes, so that's a good start. The battle system reduces the party size from 4 to 3, making it more action-oriented than ever. The design focuses on dodging, countering, and using risk-reward charge attacks to break enemy armor layers. Much of the strategy lies in the ability wheel, which halts the action when you tap or hold the shoulder button, allowing you to issue commands as needed. Companions can be customized as support units and healers, adding depth to the tactical gameplay. The combat system presents an interesting challenge for the 4th iteration of the game, as every Dragon Age installment has reinvented combat to some degree. At no point was there any kind of overhead view such as old-school Baldur's Gate. The rogue even has Arkham-esque parries, and it looks like everyone will have to hammer dodge to evade ranged attacks. Weaknesses and resistances will play a major role in combat, with abilities designed to exploit them. For example, one character might apply a weakening debuff on an enemy, while another might be able to detonate it. The bonds Rook forges with companions like Neve, a detective, and Harding, who returns from Inquisition as a full partner, will determine party growth and available abilities. These bonds are shaped by choices made using BioWare's famous dialogue wheel, which returns to the Veilguard. This depth adds fluidity to the battle system that Dragon Age Inquisition lacked. Each class has individual specializations, along with an overarching backstory based on the chosen faction. Unlike previous games where backstory was often irrelevant, it now impacts dialogue significantly, which will please players seeking a more immersive experience. As someone with hundreds of hours in Dragon Age Origins, the most traditional RPG in the series, the shift in mechanical emphasis makes me skeptical. This skepticism is compounded by BioWare's recent track record. While I'm very curious to see more, I can't help but wonder if BioWare's fantasy RPG remains true to its roots, or if the RPG elements have been sidelined entirely. The game seems thoroughly and gorgeously fantasy, but is the depth of the RPG still there, or is it gone for good?